Well, thanks a lot for staying with us here on Sunrise Live on E on this Thursday morning. Now, according to quarterly labor force survey, which was released yesterday, it basically revealed how employment grew by over 200,000. This growth in employment grew in the services industry and with this transport and manufacturing following 46 and 44,000 respectively. So, to talk more about the results and perhaps really touch on the issues around TVET colleges and qualifications thereof, we do have in studio with us the Statistician-General from the Statistics South Africa. Speaking about Dr. Pali Lehohla, they're joining us for that conversation, and we invite you as always to be part of our discussion this morning. Leave your comments on Facebook and Twitter, but also give us a call 011 447 1742, alternatively 1260. And of course, let's get this conversation going this morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
No, thank you very much for inviting me.
It's so strange because every time you get called into the podium and to release such results and reports, it almost as if you can almost sense the passion with the way which you deliver it, and simply because you've been touching base in terms of where is it that we're going wrong as a country where unemployment is concerned. It's not the first time you speak about certain instances, but on the flip side of it, this time we're seeing at least about a 0.6% increase in the employment rate. And what can we attribute that to?
Well, we have seen that it's in services, 77,000, which includes the public service. Not a good sign. We've got mining, we've got manufacturing, which is quite interesting, as well as transport. I think what we have to do is to look more at what are the knock-on effects that create conditions for this employment. Year on year, we see that manufacturing is still 10,000 down, but quarter on quarter, it has come strongly at 44,000. We also have to remember that around that last quarter, employment generally increases anyway. So if we need to look at what the first quarter of the year is.
So in other words, it's not necessarily celebratory because it is anticipated that the employment rate around that, I mean, it's the last quarter of the year, right?
Yes.
So around the last quarter of the year, there will be projects that need to be completed, financial, and the financial year end is now the end of February, which means that everything needs to be completed before February, which means they need to hire more people.
Well, that's what happens in December. The demand for Christmas and the like generates more jobs necessarily. So, however, in the same quarter, we see a slight drop in unemployment. The issue is, at that point in time, people also look for jobs. But at the same time, we see a slight drop in unemployment, which means, yes, it's not. It could be worse. That's the point. Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about those individuals, because I mean the unemployment rate I think sits at about just over 26.5%. However, this does not. When you look at the expanded now unemployment rate in itself, it's over 35%,
yes,
right?
Indeed, yeah.
And that includes about 8.9. This is where I'm stuck. 8.9 million people in this country have stopped looking for jobs. They're no longer looking. What does that mean exactly?
No,
So 3 million.
3 million have stopped looking for jobs. Others are actively looking for jobs, but they can't find jobs.
Yeah.
The 5.7 million is actively looking for jobs.
So altogether, is that 8.9?
That's what the 8.9 million. That's where the more than 35% manifests itself. So yes, it means that there are quite a number of people that are
who've just given up.
3 million have given up because the labor market is very depressed. And the classical case of this is in Limpopo, where you will see that unemployment is about 20%. But when you go to expanded, you are going upwards of 35%. It means quite a chunk of the Limpopo people have actually given hope to find any job.
Which other provinces are highly affected? I know that the Northwest province as well, I believe that they had a slight increase.
Yes, I mean, all the other provinces outside Gauteng and Western Cape have a fairly depressed labor market.
Yeah.
So people there have actually know that they can't find a job and they don't have the money to go and look for jobs. So job seeking is very expensive. We also have seen that, however, where people are getting social pensions, social grants, the job-seeking behavior improves somewhat. School attendance outcomes are better.
Yeah.
So, but however, the issue is we have a grave situation of joblessness.
And speaking about the grave situation itself, you know, you touched on issues around TVET colleges. And I mean, we got the shock of our lives when we looked at the figures behind that, saying that those who are graduates, so university graduates have got more likelihood to find employment than TVET colleges because they're simply unemployable. And you were mentioning various factors that are related to that. Take us through those facts.
Well, I mean, the issue here, I think what we have to do is not to be obsessed with the headline figure of 26.5 or 27.1. I mean, what's the difference of 0.5% when the situation is as bad as it is?
Yeah.
I think we need to start looking at the figures underlying that. Who are these people who are unemployed? Where are they? What are their profiles? Particularly, where have we invested? So if we think education is an investment, then we have to ask the question, have we invested appropriately? Have we got an education system that delivers employment? And the classical case is the difference in employment levels, particularly between university graduates and TVET graduates. Obviously, not everybody will be a university graduate. We have to have exit points in the system. But the TVETs are not producing people that are employable.
I'm confused, and please clarify
that is the
for me
problem.
with this
I mean,
one.
The problem is the level of unemployment of people who come out without a university degree have a very high level of unemployment. We've seen it's about 37%. For those who are 15 to 34.
But what about the artisanry perspective of it?
That's exactly where the point is.
Yeah, because the TVET colleges the output is people that are involved in the skills. So the boiler makers, the plumbers, the artisans.
The question is whether the question is whether we are producing those through those systems.
Yeah.
Yes, and whether we are producing them in the quality. But secondly, you see that blacks actually suffer the highest level of unemployment, absolutely disproportionate to what their qualifications relative to their counterparts are. So you have to unpack that to find out, are there other factors at play?
Are there other factors at play?
I don't know. I mean, if you look at it by race, it gives you very distinct patterns that suggest that there are indeed other factors at play. Either people are black, therefore they will not get a job, or the TVET process they went through is not one that gives them the possibility of the job.
It paints a little bit of a bleak picture in terms of what we're dealing with in South Africa. Very realistic nonetheless, though. So I must thank you for joining us this morning and shedding some light on those numbers.